Well, this is Spotlight, and I'm Pastor Dan, and now we are in happy times here. We've gone through 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 last plagues, the world falling apart, and all of that. Now we have the moment we've been waiting for forever, why we are Adventists, which is coming, the great resurrection, when Jesus wakes everyone up. We have been burying people. I have done hundreds of funerals. My father's in a grave. And we read these great verses, Revelation 21. You know, someday the city of the New Jerusalem is going to come down. Someday there'll be no more pain, no more crying, no more sorrow. Psalm 23, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. 1 Thessalonians 4, you know, he will come, descend with the shout, and the shout of the archangel and the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. This is our great hope. John 5, 28 and 29 said the resurrection is split. Resurrection to life, resurrection to death. We see that as 1,000 years apart, and I think it's very close, true to the Bible. Revelation 20 verse 5 says, the rest of the dead live not again for 1,000 years. So clearly, some have risen, and the rest of the dead stay dead. So there's clearly a split. Think what that will be. My mother, who has been waiting as we tape this 20 years. We got the news that my father had died. We raced to the hospital. We stood there around a circle and watched those numbers go down. And we had to bury him. We've gone 20 years without him. He has great-grandchildren that he's never seen. My brothers and I have done the best we could to live according to his legacy. We built a church in Thailand in his honor. There's a picture of him there. But you think what it'll be like to have my dad have that tomb just burst open. And he comes walking out of there. My mother is there. They're together again. My brothers and I get to see my great-grandparents, my grandparents, all the hundreds of people that I have buried in Jesus all over the world. How many people we have buried lying to the east so that when they come up, they're looking at Jesus. See Jesus. There was a man who landed New York City. And he rented a taxi and he said, take him to this place. He sat back to relax. When all of a sudden he realized he's passing by where he needed to stop. He tapped the guy on the shoulder. The guy went crazy. He almost crashed the car. Turned around and said, don't ever touch me like that while I'm driving again. He said, this is my first day driving a taxi. He said, for the last 15 years, I've been driving a funeral car, a hearse. He thought that somebody from a coffin had risen from the dead and tapped him on the shoulder. But someday it's going to happen. Someday there's going to be a resurrection and Jesus is going to come and he will call. In John 10 it says, my sheep know my voice and they will hear his voice. The other people, they can sleep through rock concerts and everything else, and they will sleep through the voice of Jesus. And everyone is going to rise from it. Michael Jackson made the #1 video when they counted down the top 100 videos before the year 2000. Thriller was #1. And that Thriller made fun of the resurrection, and they had ghouls coming out, and it was crazy. And I wanted to say, how can you make fun of the resurrection? This is the greatest event. Jesus rose from the grave. Satan knew when Jesus rose that he had lost. And Jesus said, because I live, you also will live. I was dead, and now I am alive. And behold, I have the keys of death and hell. Revelation 1, 17 and 18. It's our great hope. I would love to live until Jesus comes. I'm getting older. I'm 68. I've had a tough health scare the last few months. I don't know. I'm going to do the best I can to eat carefully and live ready for Jesus to come. But if not, somewhere there will be a funeral and they'll bury me. And they'll tell stories and they'll sing and they'll put me there. And I hope and absolutely believe that I will rise and I will go with my Father to be with my family forever. May it be our hope. This is Spotlight. We'll see you again next week. Thank you for watching Spotlight. We're so excited about this. We hope that you'll subscribe and so you'll get all of them. And please just forward it on to others and tell other people about it. And let's just see what kind of an audience we can get for these messages of Spotlight. God bless you.